It's an amazing combination. Welcome to all of you to the show.
Yes, thank you, Lurie. We're happy to be here.
Happy to have all of you. It is a real pleasure. It truly is. Now, we have a lot to squeeze into a little bit of time. And Natasha, you're someone who we often look to talk about the overarching advocacy umbrella. That really is a space where all of us who are beauty activists, and anybody who is interested in being beautiful, you should also be an activist. You talk about the advocacy component that really touches every element of the beauty industry. Talk to us today about some of the advocacy we're going to hear about.
Well, today is really about being clear on why you're here, right? And clear on your message, and then also coalition building. And so, like you talked about, Nadra is here. She is a force to be reckoned with in her own right. She is from Illinois, and she reached out to the NHBC because she's facing a similar issue in her state as we were here in New York, which
Wow.
was removal of the natural hair license that advocates, right, beauty
Mm.
professionals who stepped into their role as advocates, actually thought about the safety of the public, and also wanted to codify the traditions of natural hair care and put that into a licensing structure. So they did that in 2011, and
Mm.
now they were up for deregulation. And so they reached out to us, and we were there to support. We actually flew down to Illinois last week to really attend this town hall. That was a very important conversation to let the public know, let the community know, and all the professionals, because again, as a beauty professional, you are an advocate. You have the lives of your clients in your hands, and the more you know, the better you can serve your clients. And so that's why I believe beauty professionals are in the perfect position to become advocates, learning about toxic products, learning about toxic braiding hair. All of these
Mm.
things is information that you can arm yourself with so that you can protect your clients and inform them of what's going to keep them healthy.
I'm so glad you said that. And Nadra, it's a real pleasure to have you here. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. It's a real pleasure to have you here. Talk to us a bit about what's happening with the deregulation efforts in Illinois. My audience well knows that when you hear the words deregulation, that means somebody wants to stop rules from being implemented. And we also know that we have regulations because when left to our own devices, people will often take the more cost effective route, which often also means not being as intentional about following rules that are going to keep us safe. Give us a sense as to what's happening in Illinois as you all fight for regulations to be maintained for natural hairstyle and braiding.
Absolutely. And yes, you are pronouncing it correctly. It's
Thank
Nadra.
you.
So, yeah, during the spring, quietly, a bill was swept past and under our radar was set to pass to kind of kill the license for natural hair and braiding professionals in Illinois. And it was done so quietly that some of us had no idea. And then when we found out, we moved quickly um, to bring each other together to advocate for stopping this from happening because what we built in 2010 was really important. It was actually a braiding reform bill that was catered to natural hair professionals that allowed us to hold 300 hours in education on public safety, hair care, natural hair care, no chemicals. So we didn't have to go to school for cosmetology. We actually built schools for our profession.
Hmm.
And this bill now is set to erase us completely from the Cosmetology Act. And most of the schools that exist and the brain licenses and the teacher's license are predominantly people of color who hold these licenses.
Why
So
would somebody want to do that? Why would, after you all fought for it as experts in your field, you fought, and maybe you can give us a sense as to why you fought for this thing, this licensing procedure, and then why would somebody want to undo all of that work? What's the reason?
that's a great question. Why would they want to? Right now, what they're calling it is a Braiding Opportunity Act, which is just a marketing term for it. So
Mm.
they're saying that we're giving you the opportunity to braid under the radar as if that's something that we want. Most of us who carry these licenses have built our career on this license. We have been entered into rooms that we weren't we weren't actually recognized in, right? As being under the radar, under the table. This we fought for this license because it actually set us aside from cosmetology. It said that in our profession, this is what we specialize in. We specialize in natural hair care. We specialize in the health of the scalp, sanitation, all of these different things that we actually have great pride in. So why someone would come and try to take that from us says that, we don't think that this is a profession. We think that this is just a hobby. You guys are just braiding. It's not really that important. Even though you service the public, why not just do it in the backyard or in the basement? Have somebody in between your legs and it is what it is. But the surprising part is that it's Black women who have sponsored this bill. That's
I'm
the
actually not surprised by that because I've seen how some of these organizations, like Institute of Justice and other
Yeah.
organizations, have been really targeting Black women to get them to advocate for this sort of thing. Now, Professor Wendy Greene, I want to bring you into this conversation because there are reasons why people go to cosmetology school. When white women want to go to, or white people want to go to learn how to do white people's hair, there is an understanding that you have to have, there's a curriculum you have to follow. You have to understand how not to poison the head. You have to understand how not to transfer germs from one head to another head. You have to understand how the chemicals are going to interact with the texture of the hair so people don't come out your seat with green hair when they wanted purple hair. There are thousands of hours that you have to go through because white people have recognized that when it comes to doing white hair, there is a science to it. There are procedures to it. There are policies and things that you should follow to do this work safely. Are we to believe that Black women and Black hair don't require that same level of care and intentionality and instruction? Is it anybody? We all got hair, so just sit on down between my legs. Let me slap some decks on it. Like, are we to believe that for some reason our hair is less deserving of that level of intentionality and structure?
Well, good morning. And that's a really great question, because that's what this kind of legislation, this deregulation, or what I call de-education legislation, is actually communicating that we don't deserve the same level of care as it relates to our hair care. That it's not a science in the ways in which others have appreciated, the crafting and creating of hairstyles and hair coloring and other things related to hair care for individuals who would not identify as African descendant, right? So this is one of the main reasons why we're trying to better educate legislators about the intentionality, and even if it's not your intentionality, about the impact of this kind of legislation and what it's communicating to the broader public. And you hit the nail on the head in terms of communicating to the broader public that natural hair care, braiding, is not a science, which we know is not true, but that's what you're communicating, that it's not a science, and that we as Black women and girls who are overwhelmingly, if not exclusively, the consumers of natural hair care styling, we don't deserve the same kind of protection as it relates to our hair and as it relates to our health and well-being.
Now, see, what's bugging me out about this is I'm looking at the cosmetology core curriculum breakdown now, right? Now, so now y'all listen, I ain't trying to make people do more than they need to do. I'm just saying this is what the white people do for themselves. They got 24 hours of professional requirements. So just how to be professional in this industry. They got 26 hours on safety and health. They got 15 hours on anatomy and physiology. So like it's a part of your body. You should know that. They got 10 hours on hair analysis. They got 10 hours on hair and scalp disorders and diseases. They get 5 hours on chemistry as applied to cosmetology. They get 30 hours on shampoos, rinses, conditioners, and treatments. They get 175 hours on hair cutting and shaping, 245 hours on hair styling, 180 on chemical restructuring, 180 on hair coloring and lightening, 40 on nail care and procedures, 60 on skincare and procedures. Now, I could see if you said, I'm just going to be twisting it, cutting it, dyeing it, and shaping it. Maybe I don't need to know how to do your nails. Maybe I don't need to know that. But I'm sorry. I don't understand why white hair gets all of this focus and gets to be treated as something special and worthy of all of this study. And black hair is just any old body who can do a corn braid and an extension. You just get to stick your potentially unsanitary hands in my scalp. Nadra, I'm having a problem with this. I'm having a problem with this. Talk to us about what this advocacy looks like for you in Chicago. Or I keep saying, for me, all of Illinois is Chicago. I'm sorry, Illinois. I know there's more
Well,
to.
I know, right? It's I know. It's same here. So yeah, Illinois is a really big state and it's affecting all of us. As far as right now, what we're doing is trying to just come together as a collective and get on the same page. One of the things that natural hairstylists and braiders in Illinois know to be true is that our voice is important and that we need to express our voice in so many different kind of ways. And I think that one of the things that has been really important is getting in front of and contacting our legislators and letting them know that there is a lot of education that we provide inside of this license. And for you to tear it down, I mean, even the notion that it should be torn down is allowing people to have the state of mind that Black women don't matter, and
Mm,
which is dangerous. It's really dangerous.
yeah.
And we're trying to correct that, but it has been hard. It has been hard to make sure that people know the seriousness of what is going on because a lot of the narrative is that it's not that important. If they don't have a license, then that's fine. They
Mm.
can just, make their money however they make their money. And the education is really, really important. So what we have been doing is just collectively coming together and coming up with ideas of how we can get in front of the legislators and let them know how important this profession is. Not
Now,
this class, but
is
this
there a place
profession.
where the listeners can go to support your efforts in Illinois? And then Wendy, I want to come back to you to talk about this symposium because these are the sorts of things. Years ago at the Center for Law and Social Justice, we had a law of the Black Beauty. I'm sorry, it was the Beauty and the Law, Black Beauty and the Law. I'm misremembering the name of the symposium. That was years ago. That was before we had a Crown Act, and I'm so glad that Drexel is now doing this additional symposium this September, weaving it all together: hair, health, law, and policy. Are these some of the things that people are going to be talking about at that symposium, Attorney Greene?
Absolutely. So actually, Natasha Gaspard is going to be moderating a panel, a featured panel
Whoa.
Saturday,
Okay.
for the NHBC, and they're talking all about their legislative advocacy, trying to combat this deregulation slash de-education legislation, and what that process looks like, and what coalition building looks like, what consensus building looks like, and just the fact that this legislative process it takes time. Like these things are, and it takes time, and you have to revisit it because you have people who are out there trying to dismantle the work that you put into even creating and crafting a piece of legislation designed to protect the consumers, right? So they'll definitely be talking about this on Saturday afternoon at Drexel University, Thomas R. Klein School of Law in Philadelphia. And we'll also be having so many other conversations. And the critical point, I think, overarching point about this symposium is that we really want to communicate to everybody that hair care is healthcare. That
Mm.
is a really major theme throughout all of our different panels. We have over 11 panels and over 50 participants. It is one of the largest, if not the largest, symposia that Drexel Klein has hosted
Wow.
in our history as a law school. So we're excited. It's going to really be epic and groundbreaking and historic in so many ways because these conversations are not happening all the time. And
Mm.
so we're really happy to convene so many people to really address all of the different ways in which hair is linked to our not only our identity, but also to our well-being and to our health. And
Mm.
really getting people to understand that if we're really going to bring about health equity, that hair is a very central part of that.
And I think, one, I'm sad to see that I'm grateful that this is happening, but it's on September 25th through the 27th. So I'll be at CBC for most of those days. So I'm going to have to try to make my way up to Philadelphia to get there. But I'm wondering, there we go. There we go. I'm wondering if there is, and of course, like the 3 minutes we have left, is there a way that the consumer can also play a role here? Because I don't want to sit at the hands of, I mean, y'all know my mama does my hair. Nadra, you might not know, but my mama does my hair. But other than my mama, if I'm going to somebody else to do my hair, I want to know that you have been properly trained. I want to know that the comb that you use in my hair or the tool that you use to interlock my hair was properly sanitized. I want to know when I need you to color my hair that you've been properly trained. Does the consumer here also play a role? And maybe this is a conversation we should have a part two, because I'm wondering, should we be saying, hey, sis, you ain't got no license? But you gonna put that in my, I'm gonna have to go to the booth over there. She got a license. I'm gonna have to go to her. Not to say that we want to give over, the licensing power to the man, but we want to, let's not act as though that there is not a space and a demand for effective healthcare and informed and educated healthcare. Does the consumer play a role here? Natasha, I'm going to go to you because we just have a minute left.
Yes, absolutely. The consumer has a role in this. They are key and central to this conversation. The thing is that we are battling a mindset of worthiness here. And I was just talking to a stylist last night, and she basically remembered how when she went to a salon because she didn't have the money and this is all she thought she deserved, and how sad she was for herself that she put herself through that. And I said, you know what, this is what we're dealing with. The thing is this: we have to elevate our own ideas of what we deserve, right? We deserve hair care in the best possible way, and we also deserve hairstylists who take their craft very, very seriously. Because again, it is not just about making you look good, right? It is about everything, your mind, body, and your spirit connection. You're treating yourself as a holistic being, which we all are. So the consumer, they can reach out to the NHBC. We're going to be launching campaigns because we have to educate the consumer on what they deserve, because sometimes they don't know. What you're used to is just what you're used to, but there's so much more that you can have access to when it comes to a professional salon. And so that's what we want to teach the people. We want to let them know that.
I love that. And we are going to share the link to this symposium. Nadra, if you could just give us your social media and the best way for people to follow up with you if they want to support what's happening in Illinois.
Yes, we are the Natural Hair Professionals Coalition. So you can reach us at NHPC coalition.org. And that is where you can fill out a survey. You can let us know if you have any questions. But it is important for us to hear from the public because we want to know what are your concerns. And that's essential.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm these groups that are going around convincing the handful of us to not show up for us. There's always a step in. Let me not be mean. I was gonna be a little snarky, and I'm just gonna stay focused on being righteous. I'm just saying, stop letting them use you. Stop letting them use you. Don't let the devil use you.